All right, new day, more work. When your store has an unpassable deal on bread, you get it. But bread goes bad, and we don't really love or I don't have enough room really in the freezer for just like 4 or 5 loaves of bread. And nobody's going to eat just a loaf of bread. What they will eat is Uncrustables. Now, my kids are 14, my twins. They don't care about the crust and said, just leave it on. Save yourself the time and effort. So I said, heck yeah. Okay, so peanut butter and jellies, I'm using up what we have. So this is what I have for the peanut butter that I just showed. I have some grape jelly left in there. But let me go show you what I'm doing with the jug of peanut butter now. All right, I scraped out as much as I possibly could, and I gave it to my puppy. I did. It's not much, and he won't eat the whole thing, but it will keep him busy while I smear the peanut butter jellies. Hey, Reddington. Red. Look, I don't even exist. But a busy puppy means he's not getting in any trouble, so, again, huge win. Red, sit. We're going to see if Reddington... Oh, sit. See if Reddington likes pickles. What do you think, Red? You like pickles? I guess so. Oh! We can eat it? I don't know. All right, the peanut butter and jellies are in the freezers. Now I have my biggest cookie sheet. Used to be like this beautiful white speckle pattern. Well, it's been loved. Anyway, to the point is I make usually double batches of cookies or at least a single batch of cookies. But anyway, I don't make all of the cookies to eat right away. I always freeze some. Now, you can freeze them however you want, but I have a bunch of different silicone mats. And this one is from a little mini muffin silicone one. I just freeze them in there and pop them out. I also have ones that are like little squares. These make tiny cookies, small cookies, but this way we can have fresh cookies, like fresh out of the oven, basically any time. So in the summer or like we're going to have guests over, who doesn't want to surprise, treat their guests to fresh baked cookies, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I just pop them out of the freezer and then I turn the oven on. And then by the time the oven preheats, they're warmed up a little bit. But they can go in frozen. It's just like when you buy the tube or the break apart cookies that you get at the grocery store, but you're making them yourself and you know exactly what's in them and they're on hand and they're so much cheaper. So, little hack, make that. If you are making cookies for some reason, like I said, make a double batch. Freeze an entire batch and you will not be upset about it. Also, somebody wanted to try these. They're brown butter sugar cookies. My husband loves brown butter cookies. He didn't notice that they were gluten-free, but they are. And so I made a few just for everybody to try. And they're actually pretty delicious, so I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of these. He just happened to see these at the store. And they were really cheap on clearance. So, anyway, make your own. That is this, but like this was like $8 or something crazy. I don't remember. But like I said, super clearance. And these cost me very little money because I used all ingredients I already have in my pantry. All right, we're going in with another hack. All right, because I'm trying to getting odds and ends taken care of. We really prefer homemade ranch. So I make a huge batch because the bottle of buttermilk, whenever I get it, it doesn't, it's not going to stay fresh for very long. And that's really all we use it for. So what I do is I make up as much ranch. I do buttermilk, sour cream, and mayo. About equal parts, maybe a little more buttermilk than the other two. And then a bunch of delicious seasonings. Okay, anyway, so 2 bottles is about what we can go through in a reasonable time for it to stay fresh and good. The rest I put in these super cube knockoffs, and I think it says up to like a cup or 2, whatever. I just kind of disperse it evenly, and then you toss the lid on it, you toss it in the freezer, and you come back whenever you're ready for it. And then I pop these out. I put them in a gallon-sized bag that I will label ranch, and then 2 bricks fills up 1 bottle. So I will have another set of 2 as soon as we need it. Or, because like I said, I want to keep it fresh, I'll just do 1 bottle at a time from here until, that's how we do it. All right, here, I'll show you what I have for dinner here. There it goes. I made homemade cilantro lime rice, rotisserie chicken, and then I made like a Mexican pinto beans. And then I did some queso, and then just tossed a little bit of shredded cheese on top. Normally I would like this in like a tortilla shell or with chips, but I just didn't feel like it today. So there we go. Oh man, I forgot. I also got green onions, but I forgot them. All right, I'm popping in here because I'm going to add these clips of what I did, but the machine is loud, so I'm not sure how it'll go. But I found a pasta making machine at our thrift store, and it looks like it's from like the early 90s. I can't remember. I think we looked it up. I think it was in the 90s. But anyway, it is the coolest tool I have found, and actually will use this a lot. So we got it maybe 2 weeks ago, and I think I've already made fettuccine, spaghetti, elbows, and I can't remember if I made any other. I think I did fettuccine twice. But tomorrow I'm going to try to do lasagna noodles. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to add a clip of some of the other pasta that I have made, just really short little clips. One, I did dehydrated veggies that I blend into a powder as a seasoning. Just all the mixed veggies, packed with like the nutrients and stuff that kids don't want to eat. So I blended that up, and I used the semolina flour veggie powder that I made, collagen peptides, flavorless, homemade bone broth, and eggs. And then you just dump that all in the pasta maker, and you turn it on to mix, and then you turn it on to or I don't know what the other one is, like evacuate it or send it out, whatever it's called, extrude it. But yeah, so the veggie protein spaghetti I made was really fun. Once you get the base recipe, which is super simple, why not have fun experimenting, right? So that's what I'm doing, and I'm having a blast. And let me tell you, we all love homemade pasta now, and it seems like it's gonna be impossible to like go back to the box kind already. But we'll obviously use what we have. But I'm having a lot of fun making my own. So let me show you a quick clip of that.
Die Spaghetti Bolognese ist die längste Nudel der Welt und sie zieht sich immer weiter über Rom bis Bielefeld. Die Spaghetti Bolognese, die gefällt nicht nur der Froni, nein, 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 sondern auch dem Rigatoni. Schau!
All right, let me show you what we got going here. We are going to make a sugar-free simple syrup. All you need is 2 cups of water. And this had a 1/4 cup of the stevia. Boil it, or till the fake sugar dissolves. Okay, then in here we got a whole gallon of milk. You warm it up on medium heat until it reaches 130 degrees. Turn off the heat. Add in 1 cup of vinegar or lemon juice, and then pretty soon we're going to turn that into ricotta. So we'll show you the next steps as we go. This has to sit here covered for a total of 30 minutes. And then we're going to strain it and work with it. All right. I'm addicted to different extracts. It's an addiction. But that's okay. They're not bad for you. We're going to do, in our simple syrup, we're going to do a little maple and a little bit of this butter pecan. They're so delicious. And literally you just need a little splash. Little splash. Bigger splash of that because we like it. So that one is brown, so your simple syrup will be brown. But that's okay. It's going to be so delicious. All right, here we are. I didn't even wait the full 30 minutes because it's okay. So this is what you will get. What you're left with is whey. You can also use whey for things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my big strainer here. And then I'm going to put it in this bowl. There's a bowl and then another strainer so I can finish dripping out most of its moisture. And the dog's going to yelp at me in the background, but he's fine. Okay. You're just going to do that. You're going to get it all out, and then we're going to let it sit for a little bit longer. All right. This has dripped out for about half an hour. And now, because I'm going to use this to make ricotta for lasagnas, I am actually going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to package it in a quart-sized bag. And in here, I did parsley, Italian seasoning blend, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of salt. And I'm just going to pour my cheese in here, and then I'm just going to kind of mix it all together, rub it all together. And then when I'm going to use this, I will use a little extra milk and the other ingredients that you would do in the ricotta mixture for lasagna. But I'm just going to season mine right away because then that gives the dehydrated herbs and stuff time to really blend in and make that ricotta taste incredible. All right, we got a crazy deal on these like single serve like tinfoil pans at a thrift store. Anyway, so I'm using these and I'm going to make like little sugar cookie pizzas. I just made homemade sugar cookies or homemade sugar cookie dough, just some easy one I found off of Pinterest, and I pressed them into these little pans. I'm going to bake up 4 of them, and it was able to make 7. So what I did is I put a tinfoil pan, 1 in each pan, and then I labeled my bag sugar cookie skillet, and then some directions, and we'll go from there. And these I'm just going to set in the freezer and leave them in their pan because they can just get baked right in there. All right, I'm doing a lousy job filming, but I did make a double batch of pizza dough from scratch because I saw a TikTok or YouTube short or something, and it's a lot of work, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. So the bottom, it's going to have, there's also a string cheese in here, 5 string cheese, and then just filled in the square with shredded Colby, and then I'm going to put another layer on top of that. But before I do, I have a tiny, like a tablespoon or 2 of this, so I'm going to go ahead and smear that in there. And then I made a clarified butter, garlic, Italian herb seasoning. I'm going to brush that in there too and then get it loaded up. Alright, I didn't even film very much, but these are like pizza bombs, like Crazy Puff Copycat from Little Caesars. Absolutely delicious. And then let me show you what the main thing I was making looks like. Alright, look at that. It is a garlic butter cheese stuffed bread, and we are going to use a delicious dip, and I'll show you that soon. All right, the sauce is homemade ricotta and a jarred pizza sauce. I didn't have any homemade sauce, but I did have homemade ricotta. And so the skillet one doesn't have any meat or sauce or anything in it, so you can also do pepperonis or sausage in here, but I just did the sauce. I think it was like a meat sauce and ricotta. So that is what we're going to dip the skillet one in. All right, we are jumping in, and what we are starting with is homemade lasagna noodles. All right, semolina makes incredible pasta, and it doesn't make your stomach feel as bloated. Definitely try it. It's a little pricey, and so far I've only been able to find it in these small bags, but that's all right. You need 3 cups of flour. Normally for the recipe you need 2 eggs. Well, I needed a ton of yolks for a different recipe, so I have a couple of egg whites left. You need eggs. And then you're going to need water. But instead of water, I use my homemade chicken broth or bone broth because it's absolutely incredible and it's nutrient dense. So why not do that? So we're going to make it a little different. We're not doing yolks, but we're doing the fat from the bone broth. Then all you gotta do is salt too. Dump your flour and your salt. Give that just a quick spin for 2 seconds. And then we're gonna start adding our egg and our bone broth in. And then this is the slot. It says for lasagna. I have not made lasagna. I've made a couple other ones. So I'm super excited. So let's get this going and see how my lasagna noodles come out. Would you look at all those lasagna noodles? Oh, I'm so excited. They look absolutely perfect. I just kind of put them on this homemade, my husband made me this pasta drying rack, because I have to get all the other ingredients together. But now I wasn't sure, so we looked it up. I'm going to boil these for 3 to 4 minutes and then put them in a cold ice bath to stop the cooking, and then assemble the lasagna. I wasn't sure if you could just do it straight from the fresh made or if you should boil it a little. It did suggest to boil it, so this is kind of an experiment, but look at that. and it's going to taste incredible. All right, here's the homemade ricotta. I seasoned it all up. I also added the eggs, actually the rest of the egg whites that I had left from the pasta, and there was like a little bit of chicken broth, but that's all right. This, I can't find the right lid. That one looks like it, but it's not. So now this is filled to the brim. This is a quart size container. So I'm just gonna have to put like plastic wrap on this and be really careful in the refrigerator, but it will get used today, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But look at this, 1 gallon of milk made a quart of ricotta cheese. Now, like I said, this is a little bit extra runny because I added the other stuff, and I'm gonna add Parmesan cheese too, but I ran out of room to add it. So later when we are assembling the lasagnas, we'll go ahead and add Parmesan cheese as well, and mozzarella. It's Italian. We got to add all the cheese. All right, let's be real here. I've been filming this last video over like 3 days. My brain capacity is just literally like there's like one marble floating around in there. So this is gonna be a super random little video. I didn't like follow through and show you all the things. I started here and there, but you know what? I don't want to waste all my filming and my efforts I did put in. I did do a lot of cooking over the last few days, and you'll see some of it. Now you will not see the finished lasagna because I wore out. So my husband served up the lasagna, and I made like a 9x13 pan of it. There was 2 pieces left. We did have another adult over, so there were 5 of us eating it. But everybody said it was the best lasagna they have ever had, and I agree. It was absolutely delicious, and I'm Italian, okay? I know. I'm like brilliant in the Italian food world, okay? It was incredible. I will always make homemade pasta now. Like, they're all the same level of easiness with that machine. So I'm going to use that machine until it wears out because I am addicted to it. And everybody else is really enjoying all of my trials. So thank you so much for watching, and check back in next week, and hopefully the video will be a little more cohesive. Maybe I'll show you how to do something from start all the way to finish. But that's how my brain is. Sometimes it takes me 2 days to finish something. Yeah, real life, the brain fog, all the health issues, all the things. They hit hard sometimes. And I just roll with it the best I can. So, we'll see you again next week.